young entrepreneurs on Ruhel's panel made me think about some of the things. I'm very emotionally attached to what I do, but that's how I am. And we all are unique and gifted in our own ways. We must accept ourselves before we go on to build something. But we have a panel at the first inaugural edition of the 30 Under 30. We have the conference on right now in the evening at 6 p.m. We have the awards, the first inaugural list of the 30 Under 30 Elite Club. Today we're talking to our shortlisted panelists who are intrapreneurs, entrepreneurs. I have this young panel, and I talked about in the morning about how the age of achievement is getting younger and younger. And I said 30 is the new 50. And then I also talked to you about how Einstein, Madame Curie, everyone achieved what they achieved before 30. Clearly, I was late in achieving, but I did start Exchange for Media when I was much younger than 30. So I can say that I did start a company before 30. And again, it was serendipitous. So let me introduce my panelists. Bhavna has already introduced them. I have Mr. Divij Bajaj, who is the CEO and founder of Aesthetic Nutrition. Divij was the first person to present that day and did a great job. Mr. Neel Gogia, who is the co-founder and CEO of IPLIX Media. Neel, again, very young. You were 23, if I remember from your form. And clearly, when I grow up, I want to be like you, especially your hairstyle. May or may not be possible, but I try. I'm very confused. We have 30 winners, 70 shortlisted entries, and whoever is won, there's very little difference between the 30 and the 50 list. We had to do because it's called 30 Under 30. But really, I want to say that. So Neel, I'm very confused who I want to be like when I grow up. But by the end of the day, I choose. But you're definitely one of the contenders because of your hairstyle. But jokes apart, Neel is the co-founder and CEO of IPLIX Media. He presented his case very passionately. I was there when both Divij and Neel presented. Nishtha Yogesh is the CEO of Hunar online classing. Nishtha, welcome again. I was there when you were presenting. And we have Rohit Shah, who's the CEO of Hemp Horizon, again an industry which is really at the early stages of its evolution. Rohit is clearly a pioneer. Last but not the least, we have Siddharth Maheshwari, who's the co-founder of Newton School. So Siddharth, welcome. We're talking about startups, technology, and clearly COVID has been the chief transformation officer, the chief digital officer. It has accelerated digital adoption by at least 5 years, if not 10 years. What would have happened in terms of numbers in 5 years has happened in the last 12 to 14 months. So let me ask by starting each one of you. First of all, I want to ask this. If I talk to you 5 years from now, where would you be? I know the list is already done. It will be announced in the evening, so you can say what you want to. And very importantly, what drives each one of you? Let me start with Nishtha first and then go around the house.
Thank you, Annurag. As much as all of us under 30s are working very hard to do what we're doing, we always need appreciation and support from all of you all, and it really helps us keep going on this journey. So before I answer where I'd like to be in 5 years, I'll just tell you a little bit about what we do at Hunar. So we provide skilling opportunities to women across the country in creative courses, typically homemakers, with the intention to help them learn a skill, create products, and gain financial independence through becoming micro entrepreneurs or starting up home businesses. What I'm hoping in the next 5 years, my main goal is that we're able to provide more and more products and services to our customers and actually get to more than about 10 lakh entrepreneurs created through this whole process. And ideally, that's what I would like to do. I'd like to do it in 3, but I'll take 5 as well. And what keeps us going, what keeps me going is the impact that we're creating, right? I was born to relative amount of privilege. I was never told that there's something I can or cannot do, but I saw equally that there were many, many women around me that were driven and bound by certain rules and societal norms. And it's been my life's mission to do whatever I can to help women around me learn courses, become skilled, start up their own businesses, become financially independent, and finally, over the day of the sort of the volume of emails you receive and the firefighting and the number of people you have to talk to, I think what really keeps me going is talking to the customers at the end of the day and being able to realize and kind of you can see that you are creating some impact, and I think that's really the goal.
Thank you so much. Let me bring in Divij Bajaj. Divij, what drives you, and where will you be 5 years from now? And then we'll come to technology and how COVID and technology have really created a brave new world, which all of you are driving and exploiting. Exploiting not in a bad sense, but you are leveraging it. I would use the word leveraging and not exploiting. So Divij, what drives you? Where will you be 5 years from now? Will you have more hair? Will you have less hair?
Thank you, Dr. Annurag, for calling me in. In short, we sell nutraceuticals in the form of cute little gummies. And I think my driving force has been the challenge that, everybody laughed at the concept when we first bought it in India. When everybody said that, this is something that is for kids. Why do you want to do it for adults? And when nobody believed, I think that was my inspiration to, prove them wrong and to give a nutraceutical brand to the entire world, which is in a different format. So 5 years down the line, working on the same path, I think my aim is to give this globe, the whole world, an India nutraceutical brand, which is an example for the whole, for the entire world. Unlike what we have right now, we get US brands, we get excited on European brands in terms of nutraceutical. I think now is the time when India gives its first nutraceutical brand, which excites the whole world. And that's my 5-year plan.
Thank you so much. And I must tell you a story. You're the first person to present. And again, I was a jury member, but I was integral part of the discussion on each selection. And, we had to do 2 sittings because with some of you spent 20-25 minutes. So we did 40 in the first day. But I want to tell you that clearly when my kids were younger, I would eat their gummy. And, clearly you have the beach body thing on your, left. Clearly
Yes.
You can send me one and, or I can buy one. There's no problem. Maybe I'll have the beach body. Finally, I've been looking forward to it for many years, but soon. But glad, it gladdens my heart to see. And I can tell you, I've been talking about reverse mentoring for a while. What I can learn from younger people or from anyone. And I think one of the reasons I enjoy the jury process is, and knowing about you is, one, we discover you editorially. Second, there is so much to learn from each one of you, and I really mean it. I really, I'm happy that we did this. Rohit, again, Hemp Horizons is a pioneering player, early days. You're asked questions about regulations, how are you getting around it? But first of all, tell me what drives you. I'm sure it's hemp in a good way, not in another way, but in a good way.
Thank you, Dr. Batra. Yes, definitely it's hemp, but the bigger things are pertaining to the life cycle of hemp, which is sustainability. So one interesting fact is that hemp in its whole cultivation life cycle, which is 3 to 6 months, can absorb about 22 tons of carbon from the environment. So for us, I think, or for me, the driving force is definitely sustainability and leaving a good world for our future generations to come.
Absolutely. And again, you outlined in next 3 to 5 years, where would hemp be as an industry, and where will be Hemp Horizons in that future?
Sure. I think in India especially, there will be no industry left untouched with hemp. So, you'll see hemp ingredient in any food product that you would see out there: hemp cookies, hemp pastas, hemp butters, breads, etc. You would see the hemp oil being used as a sustainable wood varnish, as sustainable paints. You could see, and you are already seeing, fabrics made out of the hemp clothing, medicines made out of the leaf and the flowers of the plant, construction materials coming out and, being used as building block. So these are some of the things that will happen in the next 5 years, definitely in India, the way the industry is progressing. And for us as a company, as Hemp Horizons, we see ourselves as a vertically integrated company, right from cultivation all the way to retail, so that we have a transparency and trust for our audience. Because, let's be honest, the plant is still stigmatized. So a person really needs to have that transparency and trust before they can buy a product and start consuming it.
Absolutely. Now let me bring in Siddharth Maheshwari. Siddharth, the Newton School again is a very interesting project, and give us a sense of what you do for our viewers, and tell us where will you be in 5 years from now, and clearly what drives you.
Absolutely. Hey guys, thanks a lot for this honor. Just talking about Newton School. So Newton School is an online learning platform that enables people to acquire industry-ready skills and get into the industry, get started with their first career. A very special thing about Newton School is that we do not charge anything upfront. We charge only and only when a student gets into the industry, starts their job and starts earning. So we are, in that sense, we are highly outcome focused. We are highly outcome oriented, and are completely rooting for the success of our students and showing it in every way possible, including our business model. Coming to what drives me and where I see myself in the 5 years, I think it would be prudent to look at my journey going back. So education personally has been a game changer for me. I got access to internet very early on. I come from a small town, went to small schools, did not have much exposure to the outside world. Fortunately, because of internet, I got exposure to a lot of things. I realized the importance of education and then got into a good college, and that transformed my life. Otherwise today probably I would have been sitting in my father's shop. Not to say that's a bad thing, but at least I got a really good choice when it comes to education, through education. That is something that I want to give to every possible individual in India and probably the world. So for the next 5 years, we want to make sure that everyone who wants has access to high quality industry oriented education at very affordable or fees.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. Last but not the least, let me bring in Neel Gogia for his opening comment. Neel, you started at a very young age. I was in a business school at the age which you started your business, and clearly, what gives you confidence to be moving on, and how did you start? Give a sense of how did you start, where are you likely to be in 5 years, and what drives you?
Thank you, Dr. Annurag, for the great introduction. It's always, great interacting with the kind of energy you share in the room. I started in the sponsorship committee of my college via spam emails, sending out to 100 and 200 clients and trying to understand how we can crack a deal. Giving a context to everyone, IPLIX Media is an influencer marketing and a talent management agency. We work with over 200 plus influencers on a monthly basis, and I've worked with around 500 plus influencers, on a quarterly basis, different influencers. And apart from just working with influencers, we also help brands in strategizing their influencer campaigns in an effective manner. Because when I joined this industry, I saw a gap that an influencer marketing campaign is looked at, an agency sends an Excel sheet, brands shortlisted, and the influencer goes live. But I felt that process could have been much better and effective if brand wants to reach their objectives in a more efficient manner, and that is where a strategy plays a very important role. So whatever campaigns we do, we play a very active role in strategy. Even if brand does not even ask us to do, we tell them how they can get even better results out of their investment. Now, if I look at why your first question, from where I get this confidence? My confidence comes from my knowledge of knowing my product. I know that no matter of whatever my age or experience is, if I know what I'm offering to my client and it is genuinely adding value, there is no point of being hesitant or being afraid about anything. My major focus is to add value, and in 5 years I look at expanding IPLIX Media internationally. We have already expanded to UAE currently, and create a creator academy where we will be educating content creators via a mini university and give them certifications of how to create video content and become successful in any platform, be it Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and XYZ. My personal goal, apart from the content space, is to open one B2C business as well, which I'm really excited about, because I've been a part of a B2B business so far and been in the agency business, and I am in talks with few of the content creators how I can take advantage of their marketing channel and start these ventures by Q4 this year.
And I remember you were asked questions about how is an influencer agency yours different, and clearly you gave a very convincing reply. But I'll tell you, when I was in a business school called MDI, and I was part of the kind of things you were talking of. I was in charge of placements. I was in charge of bringing industry professionals to the campus. I was in charge of raising money for our college festival, and that's what I do now with my last 20 years. So what you do in college does matter. What you don't do in college also matters. But let me ask, and let me start with you this time. Now, technology, especially in the last 16 months, has really accelerated each of your ventures. It's accelerated the digital economy, if I may call. Give a sense of where would be influencer. Clearly, you think about your business in the future. Where will be influencer marketing in the next 3 to 5 years? What are the changes you will see? There's an emergence of D2C brands. There's an emergence of influencers. But the beauty about technology, the technology makes itself obsolete. New technology comes, new ideas come, new ways of being come. So give a sense of where is influencer marketing headed?
So in India, influencer marketing has not even touched this, 30% of the potential. Before the pandemic, it was around, I would say, 10% of the overall potential, but the pandemic accelerated it to say around 20-25%. Every brand, what the major change which I saw was that before the pandemic, it was not, compulsory for every brand to have influencer marketing in their budget. Now every brand, most at least top 3 or 4 brands in a particular category are looking at influencer marketing very actively. How I look at it is India is at least 5 years behind the other Asian countries like China, and I did a case study in Vietnam as well, how the influencer marketing space has evolved in our nearby countries. And trust me, in the next 4 or 5 years, every brand, because the content requirement is increasing on a yearly basis. Right now we have 700 million active users. By 2025 it's expected to hit around 1.1 billion active internet users. So right now a lot of people are yet to come on the internet, and for that demand, supply needs to be high as well, which means a lot of content needs to be created in different categories by different content creators. I feel every brand will have option in every category. At least top 20 brands will have options of deciding at least good 50 advocates in terms of influencers on an yearly basis. Right now, the supply is not that high in terms of quality. Like every brand cannot blindly get 50, 100 good quality influencers dedicatedly for their target audience. But with the emerging influencers in every region, every category, in every language, brands will have various options in terms of deciding their advocates and creating a strong community with the help of influencers and with their target audience. Right now the supply is increasing, but there are still limited options with brands if they want to scale things up. I feel that over the next 4 or 5 years, brands have already started seeing the advantage of the influencer marketing space, but with the increase in surge of content creation, they are going to get the maximum advantage in every state, in every language.
Thank you so much. I think I need to check your birth certificate.
Yeah, sure.
You signed at least a 35, 40-year-old. Really, I mean, there is some problem. Okay? Please, at the end of the panel discussion, share your birth certificate with all of us. On a very serious note, Divij, Shraddha Kapoor is your brand ambassador, right? She's an influencer. Now tell me, apart from the fact that there is a natural wins for people looking after their health, their immunity, especially in the last 16 months, if there are 2 words that have become part of our lexicon and our consciousness has got raised, is health and immunity. Now, how is health, immunity and technology coming together to make a difference to people's lives?
So first of all, Dr. Annurag, I'll give you a new context, and adding on to what he just said right now.
And do you think your power gummies can help me grow my hair?
Unfortunately, sir, they can't help you regrow the hair, but of course they can save the existing hair that you have and help you with the hair growth. And I think I'm the live example. I have nice hair, and that's the live example of the product.
Absolutely. Go on. On a serious note, go on.
Yeah. On a serious note, sir, as a D2C brand today, what are the kind of avenues that we have to market? Outdoor is not an option for us. When it comes to television, the whole audience has shifted to OTT platforms. When it comes to OTT platforms, the only places for marketing and the only type of audience left for you to show the ad or advertise is the audience that is not taking any subscription. For the kind of premium category, that is also an marketing option that is again gone out for you. Then it's only the digital marketing, and in digital marketing, I would say mostly the social marketing, social media marketing, SEO. And when it comes to digital marketing, in terms of social marketing, the only option that a D2C brand today has left is to make an impact through influencer marketing. So exactly adding to what he just said, that influencer marketing is going to become the hardcore tool of everything that we do. And that is exactly the technology that is driving health now, because first, your avenues to learn were only when you wanted to read about a particular ingredient. Today, organically, you want to search and you want to know what kind of vitamin is doing what. That amplifies when we add it to influencer marketing. So when you're following somebody, when you know admire somebody, and that somebody is coming on board, giving you a video or explaining you over a story that this is how this key ingredient works, this is how it is done. And today, gladly, because of the social media revolution, we have interesting ways to do that. So we have nice reels to spread out the message, which are interesting enough to look. We have nice avenues on social media, nice way outs on social media in which you can spread the message. The new thing that has happened because of COVID is that people have become 120% more attentive towards these kind of message when it comes to health. Because now health for everybody has become a prime focus. They want to learn. And this kind of evolution, Dr. Annurag, I'll tell you from a small example. My chauffeur that day was discussing with me, sir, this is the kind of vitamin C I am taking and this much mg. How much mg do you think I should take? Sir, this is a revolution. No McKinsey report, no world report can tell you what kind of grassroots level exponential revolution we are seeing out here. And this is going to blow the nutraceutical market in the next 2 years.
Fantastic. Now let me go to Rohit. Rohit, again, tell me a sense of how is technology accelerating your venture? Because the beauty about most of the ventures on this panel are the real products. At the end of the day, technology may accelerate them. Digital marketing and influencer marketing may help reach out to consumers and help connect with them. At the end of there is a physical product to be built, manufactured, and then technology can help in making sure there's better supply chain management, the efficient marketing. But to give a sense of how's technology accelerating your business?
I think for us, there is a two-way growth here. One is towards, breaking the stigma and bringing the awareness. And, there is no better place than digital. And as Divij and, others mentioned before me, Instagram influencer marketing has been a very key tool for us to bring out that awareness and, bring in advocates who actively are not shy about talking about cannabis, about the benefits of cannabis, apart from the recreational side. The other phase of development that happens on the technology side for us is definitely the supply chain management. Apart from that, how a person is using these products, because the biggest challenge here is, yes, we can get the product delivered pan India, pan world, no problem there. But if let's say you tomorrow decide on buying hemp seeds, you probably wouldn't know what to do with them. So a big part of this plays on the awareness and then how to use the products, which for us, reaching the mass audience definitely happens digitally.
Okay. Now, Siddharth, clearly your business is using EduTech as seeing the most amount of investments. EduTech is really again in the infancy, but it's also seeing crazy valuation. There's no question that EduTech companies are value. Do they have that much value is the question. But give us a sense of how your offering is using technology to impact the lives of people who are engaging with the Newton School.
So to start with, the thing that you mentioned, that EduTech, what kind of valuations are they commanding? So one thing that is very peculiar about education, especially in India, is that even if you talk to the lowermost section of society, the poorest society, they will always aspire to give their children a great education. So people are willing to spend on education. The only problem always has been quality. What EduTech companies of today are doing is changing that. They are bringing a lot of quality on the table. Take example of Newton School. What colleges do is basically they hire MTechs to teach college students who have never had industry experience. On the other hand, we at Newton School hire only people who have had an extensive experience in the industry, are working as software developers in the industry. So we are able to provide this kind of quality teachers to all students all over India. So technology per se is playing a very vital role in this on two fronts. One is, it is allowing people on the student side to have access to quality education sitting anywhere and in a cheaper fashion. The cost of launching an offline store or launching an offline class is much higher compared to launching an online class. Secondly, what it is also doing is, because everything is online, it is also enabling the creation of part-time teachers. And thus what is happening is a lot of good people who are otherwise in their industry or have a day job can also become a teacher, earn money, and impart education to students all over the place. So technology is playing a very big disruptor when it comes to edutech. Today, a student anywhere, whether they be in a remote village, if they have access to internet, they can get any kind of information they want. They can learn from the best of teachers anywhere. So that is the kind of disruption technology is playing in my sector. And as for value creation, I would say definitely edutech is not just creating value in terms of money, but also in terms of what it is doing in terms of students' life. At Newton School itself, we have now seen hundreds of students, those who primarily come from tier 2, tier 3 colleges. They do not even have jobs of like even 2 or 3 lakhs. Today, they are earning like 3 to 4 times that salary after graduating out of Newton School. And they are working in more than 200 companies. So that is the kind of impact that edutech has the potential to create.
Thank you so much. Nishtha, let me bring you into the conversation. As you rightly said during your presentation and now also, is that you didn't have to start a startup. You come from a fairly affluent family and you could have gone on. Now, all of you have been benefiting from the technology acceleration that has happened in the last 16 months. Give us a sense of what do you see happening over the next 12 to 15 months? Nishtha?
So honestly, what COVID has done for interpersonal and in-person interactions has been catastrophic, right? And that's impacted everything: buyer-seller relationships, employee-employer relationships, teacher-student relationships. And the average Indian person, I don't think they would have ever factored or thought that they could kind of go about life without these interpersonal and these in-person relationships. And we've done that, right? And this has happened, of course, because of the tremendous impetus that technology has been able to give us. Our penetration rates on every metric are through the roof. And so technology has really made it very, very easy for people to actually stay at home and use that time well, and use that time to learn skills, or use that time to entertain themselves, and use that time to do all of these things that earlier maybe they either wouldn't have the time to or the opportunity to do. What COVID has also done for our space specifically is that with the amount of people losing their jobs and overall the economic instability, households which primarily used to be single earner households, where women were typically homemakers or just taking care of the family, so on and so forth. It's put a lot of stress on them, on these families, to look at alternative revenue sources. So more people are wanting to become earning members. And this is tied in nicely with the Indian homemaker, which in general always is very aspiring, very entrepreneurial, has always had this deep desire to do more. What we've been able to do with that is that we've been able to create content and use technology to be able to distribute this content really conveniently to our customers, so that they can actually at home learn what would traditionally be practical courses that would be very expensive, like fashion designing, garment construction, jewelry designing, so on and so forth. And what these women have now been able to do, again because of technology and the disruption, is that they've been able to create these products and actually start selling across the country, across the world, even from their home. And that is a tremendous amount of power to give to a so far forgotten audience. And that's kind of how Hunar has been able to use technology to really empower our audience, which is young students or women, people who have been held back for various reasons, and actually take that forward. I don't see any sign of these trends in any way reversing or even slowing down. EdTech, online education, it's here to stay, especially for courses which are maybe not compulsory in the textbook definition. And I think these numbers are only going to keep increasing. We're already sitting at over 1 million users, and we want to be able to take that and create more and actually skill more and more people and help them create and become entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much. Mr. Gogia, let me bring you on. I'll not call you Neel, you're too wise. I'll call you Mr. Gogia, okay? I'm smiling. Now you have two advantages over me. One, you smile. Second, you are aware. Earlier it was just there. Of course, you're more intelligent, but jokes apart, on a serious note, Neel, I want to start with you, and I want a real answer from everyone. Everyone talks about their successes. Tell me, in your journey, did you face self-doubts? Did you have failures, and how did you deal with them? And I want to ask this, and don't, like when I interview people, I've hired 1,000 people. So what's your weakness? And they're like, I'm honest. That's not a weakness. It's like me saying my weakness is I have no hair, right? I mean, that's not a weakness. Okay? It can be strength. It saves my time. It saves my money on shampoo and so on and so forth. So it's not a weakness. It's a strength. So similarly, honesty. But tell me real, moments of failure or self-doubt which you overcame? Neel?
See, when I started my journey as a talent manager, the journey was smooth because I was interacting with 25-year-old influencers who were able to understand where I was coming from. We had that rapport together, the bro zone sort of a thing. But when I decided to open another arm and create a company, IPLIX, and start dealing with brands as well directly, I was 21 back then. Though my product was right, the brands usually were not easily convinced that they should be giving their entire budget of influencer marketing to a 21-year-old guy who has one or two members in his team. That was where I had two options. Either I could have continued the talent management journey, or I could have figured out ways that how I can talk to brand managers, vice president marketing, head of marketing, and still tell them that why I can add value to them. I decided the later part. Trust me, I still feel that I am not the best person when I have to pitch something to someone who is say 15 years or 20 years elder to me. To create that confidence at the earliest stage is something which I am still learning on, how to create an impact and trust within say a short 5-minute conversation. I feel this is something which I would always like to learn on. Apart from this, I don't feel that I am facing any major issue where I can say that I have a weakness. And also one more thing, I didn't have a network, and I entered a media space. I didn't have any clue how you charge agency fees, how to create your own network, and I feel that network plays a very important role if you need to get clients on board, on retainers or long-term relations. And since I started from scratch, creating that was a challenge.
So much, I agree. And I also want to ask you, Neel, what if you didn't win in the list this year? I mean, you may win, you may not win. I don't know. I don't want to give away one. How would you feel? How would you feel if you didn't win? You're only 23. It's a 30 under 30. You have 7 more years to go, right? You're 23.
Yeah.
How would you feel? Give us an honest. I'm very authentic. I say what I have to, and that's. So how would you feel? Of course, it feels good to be in a list. There's no question. It feels you spend your time, effort, and you're very good. That's why you were shortlisted. But give us a sense.
See, Dr. Annurag, I will be really honest. I still feel that I might be there in the list and I might not be. If I'm not, I will feel like, okay, there were 30 better individuals than me who deserve to be on that list, and that will give me more motivation to work harder next year and give a better presentation regarding what I have done. But I'm not going to take it in a negative manner, shit man, I missed it, because I don't know what other 30 successful individuals have.
I really want to say, I would say in the 50 there was very little difference. We had to choose 30, we had to choose 30. I mean, I wish it was called something like 50. There were at least 10 people we left out, and I felt like they were very good, and but we had to select 30. So good. And let me ask Siddharth. Siddharth, any moments of failure that you dealt with?
Oh, absolutely. This is my third startup actually. I've been a serial entrepreneur. Actually, you can say fourth because I also
started. But Amir Khan may get married for the third time. Would you call it a third startup, or would you call it 2 failures, or were they successful? Did he have successful exits? Or so on, but I'm sure you saw his announcement of divorce to Kiran Rao. But that's another discussion by itself. But yes, go on, Siddharth.
Yeah, I think when it comes to startups, in marriage, you can say that, at the end, if it did not work out, whatever time you had, it was a good.
You won't know. Are you married?
No, not yet.
You won't know. Let's not discuss things that you have no idea of. So.
Okay, let's come back to startups then. Which I have some idea about.
Yes, you have a lot of idea about it. Go on, Siddharth.
Yeah, so I would say while they were great experiences, my first 2 startups, but they were definitely a failure. And whatever someone outside might say, failure takes its tolls. Whatever someone might say, it is devastating. It shakes up your confidence. Everything is there. You just begin to self-doubt. So one thing that has happened is that there has been a journey of self-doubts, and I come from a technology background. So if I were to talk in terms of weaknesses or things like that, selling people or pitching to them was always my weakness. I had never done it before. I used to write code, then I started building product, then thinking about design and all. But I think the only way to overcome it was to start doing it. So I started pitching up, to companies. I started Actually, I had people who were 25 years experience. They had much, better communication skills than me, and I simply started pitching them, and over time that just improved. So yeah, that's definitely something.
Thank you, Siddharth, for making it real. And I keep saying that experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. There's nothing called failure. It's an experience. I understand what you're saying. And really, the beauty about life is you can always change. You can always grow and get better. You're not defined by your past, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay not to do it perfectly. At some stage, as you keep trying, you get the experience, which you may call success, but it's an experience. Let me now come to Rohit and ask Rohit, any failures, and what were your lessons from that?
Definitely a lot of failures in life, but I think the most relevant one was, when I personally left my job, moved back to India to start this Hemp Horizons, and very early on, registered the company, moved back in 2016 December, registered the company 2017. Literally 6 months in, we had our machineries in place, packaging in place, and September of the same year, we got the first FSSAI license, food license in the country to start selling these products. And interestingly enough, 20 days later from the day we received our license, that license, went away just because of certain regulations that got changed. So that was definitely a very big self-doubt moment for me, moving back from the US, leaving a big real estate job and coming back, starting something with him, being scared of, police or excise people coming to us and being like, what you're doing. But yeah, when motivation like this happens, we get credited for what we're doing. This definitely helps us, remove that self-doubt and keep moving ahead.
Thank you so much for making it real. Nishtha, any moments where you didn't get the desired results that you were looking for? I don't use the word failure. There's nothing called failure. It's an experience.
No, not just any moments, right? I feel like an entrepreneur, I think we fail or make mistakes twice a day on average, right? Like there are 2-3 things that go wrong every single day. I actually read a quote by Elon Musk that actually sums up this conversation recently.
No, I don't know what is people's fascination with Elon Musk. But there is every conversation. He comes up, I ask people, who's your person you look up to? And they say Elon Musk, so clearly he's very tall. When I meet him, I'll also look up to him, but that's another day.
No, but I think the thing is that he keeps it very honest and keeps it very, very real. So that always helps. But something to the effect of, if you wanted accolades and if you wanted support systems and if you wanted pats on your back, you should never become an entrepreneur. And that's kind of it. It is a lonely journey.
That's exactly, I used to go for lots of lectures. These days I don't. But I went to IT Delhi a couple of years, maybe 6, 7. And I asked them, why do you want to be an entrepreneur? And they said, I give 3 options. You want to make an impact, you want to be wealthy, or you want to be famous. I want to keep it simple. And, people say, some people say we want to be wealthy. Some say we want to make an impact. Some people say they want to be, famous. But the fact is, people become entrepreneurs. One, they enjoy what they do. I genuinely believe that all of us start not knowing what we are getting into fully, and then we discover what is good, and then we believe that we can make it better, and that's how it happens. I want to ask Divij Bajaj. Divij, give us a sense of your own journey, and were there moments where you felt self-doubt and how you overcame?
So first of all, I would like to appreciate you're a wonderful chair. I mean, I'm really enjoying this panel discussion. And agreeing to Nishtha, I think it's not that, we have had 1 or 2 moments. It's like we have it twice or thrice daily that we get ourselves on a self-doubt situation. But I think it's all about confidently overcoming it. For me, I think the biggest self-doubt experience was when I went to hire. So when I started the concept, of course, everybody was anti it. But when I went to hire for this company, that's when I realized that it's not easy to build something which nobody can even envision right now. Because when I used to hire, they used to think that it's a joke company. And when we join it, this company has no future. I mean, how will this concept work in terms of adults? So I think that was my biggest moment of weakness. But I remember my dad. Rather than quoting Elon Musk, I'll quote my dad. And he said...
by the way, I must tell you that I have 2 children. My daughter is 17, my son is 30. I never made it to their DP, but that's my aim. Like, if I have to really arrive, our dog Sydney has made it, and other people. grandparents. I have never met it, so I want to make it there. I was thinking of people who put photos with celebrities, and nothing wrong with it. But the fact is that they don't admire their parents. They may admire, they don't show. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you're talking about your dad.
I remember my dad saying that if you confidently follow in what you believe, there shall be a time where everybody else will follow you.
Absolutely. If you believe in, that's the starting point. And you've done very well, and all the best. I'd like to wrap up this panel by asking each one of you to say one word that you believe will mirror the future. I'll start with you, Divij.
So I think technology.
Technology. Rohit?
Plant-based diets.
There's 3 words, but that's okay. Hemp would have been better, but Neel?
Content.
Nishtha?
Elegant.
Okay, and last but not least, Siddharth, your final word. I said, what is that one word you think will represent the future? If you had to sum up the future in one word.
AI.
What did you say?
Artificial intelligence.
AI. But I think it'll be natural stupidity, which I have a lot, so I'll do well. But on a very serious note, let me end this panel and thank Divij, Rohit, Neel, Nishtha, and you, Siddharth, for making it fun. At the end of the day, it's good that we take what we do seriously, but sometimes it's good not to take yourself that seriously. I'll see you at 6 o'clock for the awards. And I really mean it that all of you were good. You were shortlisted. You did a great job. Some of you are in the list. Some of you may not be in the list. Some of you are young enough to be in the list next year. So we'll see you at 6 p.m. Okay. All the best. Back to you, Bhavna.